Good morning. Nothing missing. That's something that I've been playing with for the last few weeks. Because intellectually, I totally get it that we live in an infinite universe. And in an infinite, there cannot be an edge to that infiniteness, which means there can't be a hole in the infinite, because then it would no longer be infinite. There would be the infinite, and then there would be Barbara's hole. And that would be 2 instead of 1. And so I know that everything is perfect, whole, and complete. Everything is in perfect order. Everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to. And there is nothing missing. There is nothing broken. There is nothing wrong. And I don't know about you, but I know that in my formative years in childhood, I didn't hear that kind of stuff. I heard missing, broken, wrong. And usually that was pointed at me, the wrong part. And so here we go, looking into this idea of there is one level of reality that is the absolute. It is the infinite. It is spirit with a capital S. And then there is another level of reality that is the relative. And that's the level of physical form and time and space and what appears to be you and me. And in Science of Mind, we get to look at this idea that says, since we are created out of the divine, since we are made of God's stuff, then whatever God is, we are. I love that affirmation because as the wave is to the ocean, the wave is the point of the ocean that popped up and looked around. Hello, world. And then it falls back down. Either by the time it gets to the beach or somewhere out in the middle of the ocean, it collapses back into the infinite ocean of its being. And I think sometimes we are like that we are this infinite presence of the divine, and for whatever reason we say, let's go into time and space and jump into planet Earth and let's have a physical life. And so we're like the ocean that pops its head up, except now our head is in time and space. We call it being born, incarnating, and we look around and go, hello, world. And for the briefest moment in cosmic time, it appears like we are no longer the ocean. It appears like we are separate from everything and everyone else. But truly, if we look into the depths of us, into the heights of us, we are one with the ocean, we are one with the infinite, we are one with all that is, no matter what it looks like on this level of time and space. And that's some would say, the schizophrenic dance of Science of Mind, that we acknowledge our physical awareness of life, but that doesn't take away from our spiritual reality, that we are the ocean, that we are all that is, that we are connected with everyone and everything, that the infinite is alive and well in its totality at the point of us. And, I can say those words, but really, do I have any idea what the totality of the infinite is in me, as me, is me? No. Sometimes I get a breath. Sometimes I get a hint. And those moments make all the difference in being able to not get caught up in that moment of the wave peeking up and looking around and saying hello. It helps me to understand that my essence is spirit, and that the essence of everyone and everything is spirit. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law. There cannot be anything missing. Nothing's missing in us. We don't have any missing parts. We didn't not quite make the grade of spiritual beings on planet Earth. We don't have to go out and read a certain book or take a certain class, although my Monday night classes rock. We don't have to get anything, anyone's approval, anyone's permission. We don't have to have anything added to ourself because there's nothing missing. There's nothing missing. And along that path, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with us. Sometimes I think that our greatest growth in life is moving into the idea that I love myself just the way I am. It was Louise Hay's main affirmation that she used for thousands and thousands of people who were experiencing AIDS. And many of those people got well. Many of those people transitioned. But those that studied with her, when they transitioned, they were at greater peace. It's the basic affirmation, I love me. I love me not when I lose 10 pounds, not when I change my job, not when I get a different car. I love me right now just the way I am, because I am all that is. Nothing's ever going to change. You know, there was a movie that Jack Nicholson was in, and he went to a shrink, and he looked at the shrink and he said, what if this is as good as it gets? And I thought, he's right. This is as good as it gets. Nothing is going to add 1 cubit to your stature. Nothing is going to make you happy. Nothing is going to change the amazing spiritual being that you are. This is it. This is what you've got. And what you've got is enough, because you are perfect, whole, and complete right now. One of the tenets in the science of mind is perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. So spirit being all that there is perfection itself. Us being not created out of, because that's a misnomer, an individualized point in that awareness of spirit is perfect. We are perfect because we're made of perfection. It's like the wave can't stop being wet because it's made of the ocean. We are made out of spirit. Nah, not really. Spirit is individualized as us now, so we must be perfect. And then that includes perfect being, the perfect outpicturing of that perfection in every area of our life. And that's the area most of us like to play in. We like to play with the whole manifestation part of science of mind, how we are creative beings and we are demonstrating our life with every thought, word, and deed, and we are creating our experience. That's the fun part for me. The other part is very deep. But I have more time with the manifesting part. I don't sit in an ashram all day and meditate to get more and more of those peak experiences. I do, however, create my life 24 hours a day. And so I'm mindful of that. And when I look out into my life and it appears that something's not there, then I go, how can something be missing if I live and move and have my being in a universe that doesn't have missing? I've been doing this 40 years. And I still go back and forth. I don't know if any of you do, or if you're all enlightened. And sometimes I would like to sit up here and pretend I'm enlightened, because then I would feel a little bit more secure, but that's not the way life works. The way life works is to experience the outpicturing of who we know ourselves to be, and then to move in consciousness to achieve the state that we want our next experience to be. Everything is resolved in consciousness. Do you know that? You never fix things by going to get a second job. You never fix things by trying to talk somebody into something. You only resolve things in consciousness, and when consciousness has been shifted, then the outer shifts. And so we start to play with some different ideas. I'm actually a big Emerson fan. And he says, "Hast not thy share? On winged feet, lo, it rushes thee to meet. And all that nature made thy own, floating in air or pent in stone, will rive the hills and swim the sea, and like thy shadow, follow thee." You think something's missing, it's chasing you down. It's following you. Yes, yes. Whoever that was, yes. So whatever it is in our life, when we get that in order for us to even think that something is not there, remember the infinite. The infinite can't have the infinite and then a whole. The infinite cannot have the infinite and then something that is not there. In order for us even to embrace the idea or the thought of it, it must exist. It's the most fantastic thing. That's why we say if you can think it, you can be it. If you can think it, you can have it. Actually, if you can be it, you can think it, and if you can think it, you can have it. So as we move into that greater awareness that says, my good is rushing to me on winged feet, climbing the hills, swimming the sea, it's chasing me down. And all I have to do is stop running so much, then it will catch me. And like Rumi said, something, I'm butchering this, joy, I've been infected with joy. It's very contagious. Come kiss me. So our good is chasing us down to kiss us with lips of joy. Isn't that wonderful? You can quote me on that. And also in this teaching, we learn how to think, to resolve things in consciousness. And by learning how to think correctly, we can do anything. Ernest says, such is the power of right thinking, that it cancels and erases everything unlike itself. It answers every question, solves all problems, and is the solution to every difficulty. It is like the sunlight of eternal truth bursting through the clouds of obscurity and bathing all life in glory. It is the absolute with which you are dealing and nothing less. Once we learn how to think, there is nothing that we can't do. I know that's a double negative. As we learn to think, we can do anything. We can heal terminal illnesses. We can demonstrate into physical form. We can open up the windows of heaven and experience joy like we've never experienced before. We can call people in from halfway around the world. When I was in my very early 30s in Miami, I looked up to the sky and I said, if you're out there, you better find me and you better show up, because I had a belief that I had something better in life than my current marriage. And so I was saying, I'm at the end of my rope here. If there is truly something better for me, then now's the time for it to show up in my life. 2 weeks later, John walked into my office and asked me what this place was in Miami. If I can create someone coming from all the way around the world, then we can create anything once we learn how to think. And part of it is, I deserve to have something better. I love myself so much that I don't need to punish myself. I don't need to withhold from myself. I can have all of the good and all of the blessings in life. I deserve to have that. If you don't have this book, this is a great book. This Thing Called You by Ernest, he talks to us over and over again, giving us affirmations of how to live. This one says, I place my affairs in the hands of goodness, love, and wisdom. I am guided by divine intelligence. That which I seek is seeking me. That which belongs to me comes to me. What is mine will claim me, know me, rush to me. Only good, truth, love, wisdom, and power goes out from me. Only good, truth, love, wisdom, and power comes back to me. The power of the living Spirit exists at the center of my being. God is right where I am. God is what I am. All that God has is mine now. How can we have something missing? How can we feel like there's something gone astray or awry when we know that the very presence of the divine is what we are? Then all of the universe must come together in concert and harmony and support our experience on planet Earth. Now, we've learned how to direct that by the power of mind, such as the power of right thinking. We've learned how to think the thoughts that create the experience that we choose to have. Other people use this amazing power and they focus on struggle and suffering and terribleness and anger and victimization, and that's what they create in their life. People say, well, what happened to so-and-so and what happened to so-and-so? This wasn't quite a match for them. This is not for the faint of heart. To ask you to live your life like you are God in form as you? Well, how terribly egotistical. How spiritual of you. How perfect of you. To be able to look in the mirror and see total love, and to know that all is yours, that there's nothing pulled away. That's the true spiritual path. We were not created to suffer, to struggle, and to go without. There's nothing missing. There's nothing missing in us. There's nothing missing in our life. There's nothing missing in the world. It's all here because Spirit is infinite. It all has to be here. It's our job to learn to be able to see that. Now, there are times when I stand up here and I would prefer to not give the talk. There are times when I go, I don't want to give that talk. I want to give that talk. I want to give the talk that just says everything is great and wonderful. I don't want to give that other talk. When I was taught as a minister, it was that if things appear to be missing, you don't want to say that to people. You don't want to tell people about the things that aren't just God is all there is and everything is wonderful and you can have the life of your dreams and so it is. You don't want to bring that forward. And yet, I also know that this center is not just Barbara and John Waterhouse, that it is all of us, and we are in it all, and we are it all. And so I've just got a little bit of data to share with you. Nothing huge, nothing overwhelming, but I'm asking for your help today. We resolve things in consciousness. So I'm asking for your support in treatment or affirmation or whatever kind of prayer work or spiritual work that you do. If you are guided to do anything else, that's fine, but that's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking that we as a community come together in clarity of consciousness to demonstrate the life that is truly ours. For the past 10 years, we have always been on top of our money. And John and I are shocked that this year, for whatever reason, I don't know, our income is down between 20 and 25%. So this is the third month in a row of that lower income. We're not closing. We're not going to take your coffee away or anything like that. We have reserves. We're just eating into our reserves. And I know that we are better than that. And I've called some people, and one person said that they had a business catastrophe, and so they stopped giving. Another person said that they had medical bills, and so they stopped giving. Another person said they just went crazy and spent way more money than they have. And I have to look at that and say, where is our community in our prosperity? Because you are my business. It is my job to teach you how to rise up in consciousness and demonstrate the life of your dreams. That's my job. And it is also my job to put this information out in such a way that it can touch someone all over the world. I have been called. I was called many, many years ago. Whenever anyone asked me what I wanted to do with my ministry, the answer was always the same. It was to change the world. I love you guys. I truly do. I'm so glad that you're here. But my calling is to change the world. I'll do it till the day I die. To be able to put this information out to people who are looking at socioeconomic hurdles that we don't even know exist. Gender issues, issues against sexual preferences, issues against race and age that we don't even know exist, to be able to say there is a power and a presence in you that with right thinking can solve every problem, answer every question, and change your life. We can do this. That's my calling. This center has to be stable. It's got to be solid. One of the things that's going on, and I've spent a lot of time looking at what inside of me is causing this. And finally I threw up my hands and said, this is not just on me. You know, this is not just on my shoulders, this is on all of us. But one of the things that's going on, just so you know, is that we are meeting with the engineers. RJ is point person for that. Where are you, RJ? Yay. So we're meeting with the engineers to talk about fixing the stream bank. And once again, they reminded us that all of the silt that falls off our stream bank and goes into Hominy Creek is polluting Hominy Creek and the French Broad River. And I believe that we have a responsibility to the planet at the point of us on this property to not do that, to fix that. And so as we move forward in that, we are doing what's right, we are doing what is ours to do, and still my heart goes, bum, 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 bum. Because the expense of that is bigger than something I want to look at. But I know that there's nothing missing. I know that there's nothing lost. I know that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing broken. This is exactly what ours is to do. Ours is to fulfill our mission of providing you with a wonderful place to come and explore who you are as a spiritual being, to get in touch with your power, to learn how to manifest in this life, to give it out to the world, and to be able to make it available to everybody who has an internet connection or a cellular connection, no matter where they are. Ours is to take care of our place. Ours is to live the good life. So as much as I would like to not talk about this, I have to ask you for help. I'm not good at asking for help. I don't like it. Please help me. In your treatments, in your meditations, in all of the spiritual practice that you do, know that this center is strong, that it prospers, that it thrives, that we do the work that is ours to do in this community, on our stream bank, around the world, and whatever else comes up. Know that there is nothing missing, that we always have more than enough to do what is ours to do, that we all are always lifted by life, that we are clear in consciousness about who we are, and in that clarity, we demonstrate the amazing life that is ours to live. I will never go back on this teaching. I don't care what's going on. The last time anything like that happened, it was 2008, 2009, 2010. And you know, we came through it. Every time there's been any issue in my life, I've always come through it. I've always made it through. So what I want to do is make it through with a big smile on my face instead of my heart going bump, 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 bump. I want to make it through together and not alone. It's not my job to pull the cart. It's all of our jobs to pull the cart, and we resolve things in consciousness. We resolve things by knowing that God is all that there is, that we are individualized points of expression of the divine in form on planet Earth, and all is well, that life lifts us and supports us in every way. We resolve things in consciousness, and then we watch the outer change. I love you so much. I believe in this teaching, and I believe in us. I believe in the work that we are doing here and around the world. I believe that everything is possible. The same way that we have had malignancies disappear, the same way that we've had death sentences change into life sentences, the same way that things have looked like they were going down and they turned around and they went up, the same way that we have done that for 25 years, we will continue to do for another 125, because this teaching can change everything. It can lift each and every one of us up. It can bless us, and we can use it through right thinking to manifest anything that we want. I'm very anxious to come back and give you an update after all of these treatments on what has happened. I love you very much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Who is here for the very first time? We want to welcome you. We've got Lisa. Lisa's here, and someone in the back with David. What's your name? Rudy's here. Yay! John Donovan's here. Kim and Ross's and Kim and Ted's friend. What? Emily. Emily and Jesse, that was Jesse who said yay. And if you would like to, you can text. Next slide. You can text CSLA to 345345, and that will put you on our email list. It also gives you back a nice text that says how techie you are and you're rocking and all that stuff, but that'll automatically put you into our email system, and you can get your information on what we're doing here through email. I want to welcome back Sylvia Carnes, who was skiing all winter and has come back for a while. Thank you. Now, take out what you're going to give as our prosperity acceptors come forward. Thank you for all of the many ways you support this center. This is a generous group. You support it with automatic giving. You support it with PayPal. You support it with banks mailing in your checks. You support it by going over to the donation station during the celebration, and you support it by putting in the baskets. I am truly grateful for all that you give to this center. I'm very grateful for all that we get to do in changing lives and changing hearts. It is a good thing. And those of you watching online, you can go to the P on your YouTube page, click it, and it will take you to our PayPal account. We are very grateful for whatever it is you choose to give. I like to take my hand, open it, put the money in it, and bring it to my heart. You may be putting in love, intention, clarity, all is welcome. And what I know is that God is the source of all supply, that money is God in action. I know that that action of spirit moves through our lives, lifting us, healing us, and blessing us, manifesting all around us. I know that as we give this gift, it returns to us multiplied abundantly. And I know that each one of us comes together this day to make this Center for Spiritual Living Asheville all that it was ever meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And we'll repeat our investment affirmation together aloud. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is.